There's something powerful about being the one who rises after every fall, about being the one who's been through fire and didn't let it burn their soul. That's you. You faced demons, whether they were doubts, fears, pain, or the voices telling you to give up, and yet here you are. Maybe bruised, maybe exhausted, but standing. You didn't just survive, you overcame. And I need you to hear this. God sees you. Every tear. Every night you whispered, God, I can't do this anymore. He was there. Every moment you chose faith when fear was louder, he was watching. You weren't forgotten. Every struggle you faced, every battle that left you gasping for air wasn't for nothing. It might have felt random, unfair, even cruel at times. You might have wondered, why me? Why do I have to carry this burden? But hear me when I say this. Nothing you've been through was wasted. Not a single tear, not a single moment of pain. Every hardship was part of something bigger, something divine. You were chosen for this path. Not because you were the strongest at the start, not because you had it all figured out, but because God saw in you something even you couldn't see. He knew that through the fire you would be refined, that through the storms you would find your strength, that through the darkness you would become a light. Maybe your journey hasn't been easy. Maybe you've had nights where you questioned everything, your worth, your purpose, even your faith. You've carried wounds so deep that even smiling felt like a lie. You've woken up some mornings feeling like you had nothing left to give, yet somehow you still found a way to keep going. That is the mark of someone who was never meant to stay defeated. That is the mark of someone chosen for something greater. The world often glorifies the easy path. We celebrate success, but rarely talk about the struggle it takes to get there. We look at people who have made it and assume they always had it together. But let me remind you of something. The strongest warriors are not those who never fall. They are the ones who fall over and over again, yet refuse to stay down. They are the ones who have faced battles most people will never understand and still chose to stand up and fight again. That's who you are. You didn't get here by accident. The very things you thought would break you were the same things that built you. The betrayals, the rejections, the failures, the moments of despair, all of it shaped you. God doesn't put his strongest warriors in the easiest battles. He places them where they are needed most, where their resilience, their faith, their fire can make a difference. And maybe you've thought, but I don't feel strong. I don't feel chosen. I just feel tired. I hear you. And I need you to know that being chosen doesn't mean you won't feel weary. It doesn't mean you won't have doubts. It doesn't mean you won't have moments where you just want to walk away from it all. What it means is that even in those moments, even when you feel weak, there is something inside of you that refuses to give up. That spark, no matter how small, is proof that you are meant for something greater. Think about all the times you wanted to quit but didn't. All the times you thought you had nothing left, yet you still found a way to take one more step. That's not coincidence. That's not luck. That's purpose. That's divine strength moving through you. You have endured what others might not have survived. You have walked through storms that should have drowned you, but here you are, not perfect, not without scars, but standing, and standing is enough. So if you're still wondering why you had to go through all of this, let me tell you, because you were meant to rise. Because you were meant to be a testimony of what faith looks like. Because there are people watching you right now. People who need to see that survival is possible, that healing is real, that victory comes to those who refuse to give up. God never promised the road would be easy, but he did promise that he would be with you through it all, that every struggle would lead to something greater, that every moment of pain would birth new strength, and that in the end, when you look back, you will see that none of it was wasted. You were never forgotten, you were never abandoned, you were chosen. And that means your struggles were never just struggles. They were preparation, they were proof that you are stronger than you ever imagined. And they are the reason your breakthrough, your reward is coming. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. You've faced battles that made you question yourself, moments where fear whispered that you weren't enough, that you wouldn't make it. that the weight of your struggles would crush you. And yet here you are, not because you never felt afraid, but because you chose to keep going even when fear was screaming in your ears. That is what makes you victorious. That is what makes you unstoppable. Fear is one of the greatest weapons the enemy will ever use against you. It shows up as doubt, as hesitation, as the voice in your head telling you to play it safe, to shrink, to stay small. It tells you that you don't have what it takes, that your past disqualifies you, that failure is inevitable. And if you listen long enough, fear will paralyze you. It will keep you trapped in a life smaller than the one you were created for. But here's the truth. Fear is a liar. And every time you've chosen to take another step despite being afraid, you have proven that fear does not have the final say over your life. Think about the times you wanted to run, but you stayed. The times you felt uncertain, but you still moved forward. The times you thought about quitting, but something inside you refused to give up. That wasn't just luck, that was strength. That was courage. That was proof that you were never meant to be defeated. Fear is loud. It shouts worst-case scenarios. It magnifies your weaknesses. It reminds you of every failure, every rejection, every moment you didn't get it right. But faith is quiet. It's the whisper that says, keep going. It's the small voice that tells you you were made for more. It's the gentle nudge pushing you forward even when you don't know what's ahead. And that is why you have already won. Because you have chosen faith over fear more times than you realize. Because even when everything in you wanted to give in to doubt, you didn't. You stood. You tried. You fought. And that is why fear has no hold over you. The strongest people aren't the ones who never feel afraid. They are the ones who feel fear but refuse to let it stop them. They are the ones who walk into the unknown without all the answers. They are the ones who trust that even when they can't see the way, God is guiding their steps. And that's exactly what you've been doing. Maybe it didn't always feel like bravery. Maybe you thought courage meant feeling strong all the time, but courage often looks like taking one more step when you're exhausted. It looks like showing up when you'd rather hide. It looks like speaking truth when your voice shakes. It looks like pushing forward when you have no idea what's coming next. You have done that. You have walked through the valley of uncertainty and kept going. You have faced giants and stood your ground. You have battled thoughts of doubt, of unworthiness, of fear, and still you rise. That is why you are victorious, not because fear never showed up, but because you never let it win. So don't be fooled into thinking you have to wait until you feel fearless to take action. That day may never come. The secret isn't in waiting for fear to disappear. It's in moving forward even when fear is present. It's in knowing that God goes before you, that you are protected, that nothing formed against you can stand. It's in understanding that the very things you are afraid of are often the things leading you to your greatest blessings. Fear doesn't get to write your story. Faith does. Strength does. Courage does. And you are the definition of courage. You are the proof that fear is powerless against a heart filled with faith. You are the evidence that battles are won not by those who never feel afraid, but by those who choose to fight anyway. So stand tall, keep moving, keep trusting. You have already defeated the greatest enemy, fear itself. And that means nothing can stop you now. Scars carry stories, but they do not define you. They are not marks of failure or evidence that you are broken beyond repair. They are proof that you fought battles most people will never understand and survived moments that could have destroyed you. Every wound you have carried, every pain you have endured has shaped you into the person you are today. You may have walked through fire, but you were not consumed. You may have fallen, but you rose again. And that is what makes you powerful. It is easy to believe that our wounds make us less, that because we have been hurt, because we have faced rejection, loss, or failure, we are somehow unworthy of the good things ahead. But that is the lie fear tells us to keep us from stepping into the fullness of our purpose. The truth is, your wounds do not disqualify you. They prepare you, they refine you, they shape you into someone who knows resilience, who understands strength in a way that only those who have been through the depths can truly comprehend. Think about the times you thought you wouldn't make it, the moments that felt unbearable, the days where you didn't know how you would keep going, and yet somehow you did. Somehow, despite everything, you found a way forward. That is not weakness, that is strength. That is a testament to the power within you, the determination to keep pushing even when the weight of your struggles felt too heavy to carry. God never promised a life without hardship. He never said the journey would be easy. But he did promise that every struggle would serve a purpose, that every wound would carry meaning, that nothing you have endured would be wasted. And maybe right now, you don't see the purpose behind your pain. Maybe all you see are the scars, the reminders of what you've lost, the moments that changed you. But one day, you will look back and realize that those very scars were proof of your transformation, that every battle prepared you for something greater. You have been through things that would have made others give up. You have faced storms that could have taken you under. But you are still here. And that means something. That means you were built for more. That means your story is not over yet. Your scars are not a sign of defeat. They are proof that you survived. They are evidence of a strength that cannot be broken, a resilience that cannot be taken away. So many people go through life trying to hide their wounds, trying to pretend that they have never struggled, but real strength is not in perfection. It is in embracing every part of your journey, in recognizing that your past is not something to be ashamed of, but something to be proud of, because it means you have lived, it means you have grown, it means you have overcome. Your story has the power to help others. Someone out there is facing the same battles you once did, feeling the same pain you have felt, wondering if they will ever make it through. And when they look at you, when they hear your story, they will see hope. They will see proof that survival is possible, that healing is real, that strength is built through struggle. And that is why your journey matters. That is why your scars are not burdens, but blessings. The enemy wants you to believe that your wounds make you unworthy, that because you have been hurt, because you have struggled, you are somehow less valuable. But the truth is, the strongest people are not those who have never fallen, but those who have risen every single time. The ones who have faced their demons and refused to be defeated. The ones who have walked through darkness and still carry light. You are one of those people. So don't hide your scars. Don't shrink yourself because of your past. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that everything you have been through has only made you stronger. That the pain you endured did not destroy you, it built you. That you are exactly where you need to be, and your wounds are not holding you back, they are leading you forward. One day you will look back at the things you thought would break you and realize they made you. You will see that every scar was a lesson, every hardship was preparation, every struggle was a stepping stone toward the life you were meant to live. You are not broken, you are not damaged, you are whole, you are powerful, and you are ready for everything that is still to come. There is a moment after every battle when the dust settles and you realize you're still standing. You may be bruised, exhausted, and forever changed, but you are here. You made it through what was meant to destroy you. And that alone is proof that your victory is already written. Too often we get caught up in the struggle, in the pain, in the feeling of never quite arriving at the breakthrough we are waiting for. We look at our circumstances and wonder if we'll ever see the reward for everything we've endured. But just because you don't see it yet doesn't mean it's not coming. Just because the finish line isn't visible doesn't mean you're not getting closer with every step. Victory is not just about what happens at the end, it's about what happens in the process. It's about choosing to keep moving even when the journey feels endless. It's about believing that even in the waiting, something powerful is happening. God doesn't waste time and he doesn't waste pain. If he has brought you this far, he will not leave you now. Think about the moments you thought you wouldn't make it, the nights when you cried out for relief, when you questioned if you were strong enough to keep going, and yet somehow you did. That wasn't by accident. That wasn't just you finding the strength within yourself. That was God sustaining you, carrying you, making sure that no matter how heavy the battle, you would not be defeated. Every struggle you've faced has been shaping you. Every hardship has been preparing you for what's ahead. You may not have seen the full picture yet, but that doesn't mean it's not being created. God works in ways we don't always understand. Sometimes the victory doesn't come the way we expect. Sometimes it's not an instant breakthrough, but a slow transformation, the kind that happens over time in the moments you don't even realize, until one day you look back and see just how far you've come. Your struggles are not proof of your defeat. They are evidence of your resilience. They are the training ground for the blessings that are on their way. A warrior doesn't become strong by sitting in comfort. Strength is built in the battles, in the moments of endurance, in the times when you have no choice but to trust that something greater is ahead. And it is. God never lets suffering go unanswered. He never allows pain without purpose. Everything you have gone through has been leading to something, the moments of heartbreak, the losses, the setbacks. They were not meant to destroy you. They were meant to position you. They were meant to prepare you. They were meant to shape you into the person who can handle the very thing you've been praying for. Because the truth is, not everyone is ready for their blessing when they think they are. Sometimes the delay isn't a denial, it's a preparation. Sometimes the waiting isn't a punishment, it's a process of refining. And sometimes the struggles we face are actually the very things that make us capable of receiving what we've been asking for. You don't see it yet, but your victory has already been set in motion. The doors that once seemed locked will open. The things you thought you lost will be restored in ways you never expected. The battles you've fought will make sense when you see what they were preparing you. So don't give up now. Don't mistake the waiting for abandonment. Don't believe the lie that because you haven't seen the victory yet, it's not coming. God is a God of completion. What he starts, he finishes. And if he has led you through the battle, he will lead you into victory. One day you will look back on this season and realize it was necessary. That every delay, every hardship, every moment of struggle was part of something bigger. That without the fight, you wouldn't have been ready for the blessing. That without the pain, you wouldn't have fully appreciated the joy that was coming. You are standing on the edge of something incredible. You may not see it yet, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Keep going, keep believing, keep trusting that every step you take is bringing you closer to the breakthrough that has already been written for you. Your victory is not a question, it's a promise, and it's only a matter of time before you see it. The reward is coming. You may not know when, you may not know how, but it is on its way. After everything you have endured, after every battle you have fought, after every moment you refuse to give up, there is a blessing with your name on it. It has been set aside for you, waiting for the perfect time to be revealed. And when it comes, it will not just be a small return for your suffering. It will be greater than anything you imagined, because that is how God works. He does not just restore, he multiplies. He does not just answer prayers, he exceeds expectations. Right now, it may feel like you've been fighting forever, like you have poured out every last ounce of strength and still have not seen the breakthrough. But what you must understand is that the waiting is not in vain. The struggle was never pointless. There is a reason you have endured what you have. There is a purpose behind every tear, every heartbreak, every obstacle that tried to break you. And the moment you step into your reward, you will understand why you had to go through what you did. God doesn't just give rewards, he prepares you for them. He ensures that when your blessing comes, you will be able to handle it. Because too often we think we are ready for something when in reality we are not. Sometimes the waiting is not a delay, but a necessary time of growth. Sometimes the battles are not meant to break us, but to strengthen us, so that when the reward arrives, we do not fumble it. Think about all the ways you have grown through your struggles. Think about the patience you have developed, the wisdom you have gained, the faith that has been refined in the fire of hardship. You are not the same person you were when you started this journey. You have become someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more prepared to step into the blessings that are coming your way. And because of that growth, you will be able to sustain the victory that is ahead. It is easy to get discouraged when we do not see the results of our endurance immediately. It is easy to look at others and wonder why their blessings seem to come quicker, why their victories seem to come easier. But what you must remember is that your path is unique. What God has planned for you is different from what He has planned for anyone else. And that means your timeline will be different too. Your journey is not behind schedule, it is not delayed, it is unfolding exactly as it is meant to. If you could see what was ahead, you would not question the process. If you knew the magnitude of the blessing that is being prepared for you, you would not doubt the waiting. The reward is not small, and that is why the preparation has not been easy. The greater the calling, the greater the preparation. The bigger the blessing, the deeper the foundation must be. And God has been making sure that when your reward arrives, it is not something temporary, not something fleeting, but something that lasts. You have already proven that you can endure. You have already shown that you are willing to walk through the fire and keep going. Now, it is only a matter of time before you see why it was all worth it. The doors that were once closed will open. The prayers that seemed unanswered will be fulfilled in ways beyond what you expected. The struggles that felt like they had no end will suddenly make sense when you step into the blessing that was being prepared for you all along. So do not give up now. Do not let exhaustion convince you that your breakthrough is not coming. You did not fight this hard just to be left empty-handed. You did not overcome every challenge just to be forgotten. God sees you. He knows exactly what you have endured, and He has never once stopped working behind the scenes to bring you into the blessing that is meant for you. One day you will look back on this season and be grateful that you did not give up. You will see how every moment of struggle was setting you up for something greater. You will understand that the waiting was not punishment, but preparation. And you will realize that the reward was always coming. It was just a matter of trusting the timing. The hardest battles come before the greatest victories, the longest nights come before the brightest mornings, and the deepest struggles come before the most incredible breakthroughs. You are not waiting in vain. You are not forgotten. You are standing at the edge of something extraordinary, and soon you will step into the blessing that has been waiting for you all along.